Hi, I'm John Cobb, and over the years I've been doing a lot of wind tunnel work, and aerodynamics really don't change much, but people become more aware of what's going on with their bikes. And as more and more people have been going to wind tunnels to learn different things about where air goes and different equipment and how it works, I just thought I would edit some of my older videos and explain what's going on with the air, because a lot of times people get all caught up in watts and different things, and why do hand heights matter, or do they matter, and where does air move down your back and around your legs and all that. So it's things to think about as you're setting your position up on your bike. So we're going to go through the videos and show a little bit of things to think about as you're getting ready for the upcoming race season. This first video is just showing where smoke goes over the rider. And this section, I'll stop here for a second to show that this kind of points out why it's good to have a front water bottle in between your aero bars. This particular shot is showing how the air comes through in a 10-degree crosswind. So you'll see the air is entering over on the right side of the rider, getting caught up in the bars. It's not blowing under the bars, it's getting caught in between his arms, and then comes out and exits behind his legs over here. And what you're trying to do is build a smoother front area so that air doesn't have to change directions, because anytime you make the air change a direction, that takes power. And so we want to try to keep the air smooth and going. And here you can see, as we moved it up, you can see how the air is going around the rider's elbow and pulling up on his hip and curving around the back edge of his hip. In this other picture, in the smaller picture, you can see how the air is hitting his hands. But what we would like to do is have a front bottle in there so that the air doesn't pull down between his elbows. And the difference between these two riders is the rider in the smaller picture has narrower elbows, which is pretty current technology for the triathletes now. That would be about a 200 millimeter width, elbow pad width, center to center. And so you'll see how the air pulls down between his elbows and gets tied up in his knees. And you don't want that. You want the air to pull out around his arms and exit over his hips and be a lot smoother and clean. This section shows how the air is coming around the rider's shoulder and then being pulled all the way up around his back, his lower back area. But what you want to realize is when the air has to move around your shoulder, which it does have to do, the quicker you can make the air attach back to your back and pull off the back of the bike, the cleaner it is, the better, because all of the fuzzy looking cotton area extending from the side of his body is frontal area, and that's just something you're having to push through the wind. Now, this can be helped by the placement of your rear water bottles, or if you've got a rear bag that holds your spare stuff and all of that will help pull that air on around behind the rider smoothly and exit off the back. So that's just more to look at. This area is showing how the air comes over the rider's shoulder and exits down his back. This particular rider doesn't have a flat back. He's got a B-style back where your flexibility is up in your shoulder blades. And the air is coming off of his helmet and hitting that and going down the back. In the small picture, you can see the difference between having his helmet laid back more against his back versus having the helmet up away from his back. Just an inch or two difference makes a big difference, and the air will exit and flow smoothly off his back and regroup and go quicker. And that makes a big power difference, how you don't have to make as much power to make it go. So nowadays we're all running more short tail helmets, and the short tail helmets have really helped smooth this out so that the air comes over your shoulders and pulls down the center of your back. This is a good example of an A style back, I just break them into a flat back, which is A style, and B. A's are more common with your pro level athletes. B's are more common with your age groupers, anybody that's a little bit overweight or anything. And it just has to do with the flexibility in your shoulder blade area versus your lower back. And the A people have good bend at their lower back and a flat back. But you can see the difference in how the air pulls down and flat. Either rider can go about the same speed ultimately, but you have to get your aerodynamics through two different methods. Helmet choice is real critical on A-style riders, whereas on a B-style rider, just generally a short tail helmet will work pretty good. And so that's something to consider. This area, let me go a little bit more right there. This is a nice shot of where the smoke comes through your hands, and this is kind of a good area to explain why the higher hand position, particularly for women, is a good deal, because a rider that has a flat chest area, which is what this particular rider has, high hands aren't that important. You want the air to come through your chest area and pull on out around your hips. In this case, a internal water bottle or something under his jersey might not actually help very much, because the air, as you see, it comes in and it blows down between his legs and comes down through the seat post. Whereas a rider with a little more chest area, and particularly women who have more body parts in the way, well, then you want to try to block that air from coming into the chest area by having your hands up higher and make the air go out around your shoulders, around your upper arms, and over your hips and out the back of the bike. Those are just things to consider when you're setting your bike up, because your hand position really matters on the energy required to get down the road. On this particular shot, I've borrowed some fluid dynamic pictures because I think it gives you a cool representation of air pressure. And on these, you have your color, and so the yellow and orange areas is pressure that you're having to overcome on force. And then as you get into the blue areas, that's the lower pressure areas, where the air is gone around your shoulders or around your hips and exiting off the back of the bike. And the slide on the right shows more of why it's important to get your water bottle placement just right so that the air flows down off your back smoother and exits off. Both things show the air pressure hitting your hands. Right where your hands are, it's a higher pressure area. And then right in back of your hands, you'll see a little green right at the wrist area, and that shows why a water bottle in that area would help fill that up and make the air exit over your hips and exit off the back better. All of these programs, fluid dynamics and all, are very handy to help you visualize it better, and it helps you understand why, going down the road, why it takes an increase to go like from 20 miles an hour to 22 miles an hour. It takes sometimes another 80 or 100 watts of power, and it's hard to develop that sometimes. So aerodynamically, you can do things to improve that so that it only takes 50 watts of power. And so that's the goal that we do as fitters, is trying to make you be more efficient.